Could be. I've never seen her false alert, and something's definitely got her spooked. You have any missing folks in the area? Max held his hand up flat, signaling Kona to hold. She danced in place, desperate to hunt down whatever it was that she smelled. No one right now, the park ranger said. Okay, I'll let my dog search it out and we'll let you know if we find anything. You want me to send a ranger out to help? Max watched Kona. She stood rigid, so focused on the scent she could barely hold her body still. Nah, my dog's about to come out of her skin, so I'm betting whatever it is close. Let me find it first so we know exactly what we've got here. As Max spoke, Kona's hackles rose. Every alarm in Max's body went off. Well, why don't you at least tell me where you are so I can let someone know that they'll need to head your way soon? Max read his coordinates from his phone and said softly, I'll call you when I find it. You be careful out there in the big bad woods, the park ranger gently teased. Max clicked off and jumped slightly when Kona alerted again. He wondered when he'd lost the bravado of youth. Hell, he used to jump out of helicopters behind enemy lines. Here he was now, spooked by the thought of a dead body somewhere out here in the Virginia woods. Kona, go find. He gave the sign, flinging his hand outward. With a bark of excitement, Kona shot off like a black comet. In search mode, she made sweeping arcs back and forth, using the scent cone wafting on the air to guide her. Kona led Max up a steep incline, through a field of oat grass, and into a stand of maple trees. The sun moved higher, bringing a welcome bit of warmth to the crisp fall air. The scent of dew-damp soil filled Max's nose as they moved farther and farther from the trail. Kona's arcs began to narrow, a sure sign they were nearing their target. They climbed a rocky bluff and emerged at the top of an overlook with a view of the entire river valley. Max slowed to take in the sight of the lazy Shenandoah River meandering among the rolling mountains, blanketed in fiery red and orange. Up ahead, Kona growled. Then, without warning, she took off at full speed, careening down into the woods below. Max sprinted to keep up. The foliage grew thicker as they dropped in elevation. Branches whipped his face while he blindly crashed through the underbrush. Hey, he called. Kona, stop! For the first time ever, Kona ignored his command. Something was seriously wrong. Unable to see her, Max frantically chased the sound of his 100-pound dog hurtling through the woods like she was on the devil's tail. He broke through the foliage into a clearing halfway down the mountain, where Kona ran in circles, alerting over and over. Max had never seen her act this way. High trees shaded a large rocky area gently sloping down toward a drop-off. He moved slowly, scanning the ground for any sign of what had Kona so agitated. Go find, he commanded, hoping she could narrow down her search. Kona whimpered and sat, confused. A working dog to the core, Kona was upset that she couldn't pinpoint the location of whatever she smelled. Max carefully made his way across the craggy clearing until he stood next to Kona, who sat on a small boulder. No sign of anything other than rocks and a few patches of low grass. Nowhere to hide a body. What on earth? This your first false alarm, girl? He reached out to give her an encouraging scratch. As he leaned forward, the ground shifted. Though it had been years, his old training kicked in and he dove to the side. But it was too late. In a torrent of soil and stone, the ground gave way beneath him. Limbs flailing, Max fell into the darkness below. He torqued his legs around just in time to slam down onto his feet. He grunted in pain, knees buckling as they took the brunt of the impact. Max covered his head and waited as loose dirt and crumbled rock rained down on him. Far above, Kona frantically barked at the sudden disappearance of her human. When the cascade stopped, Max called up, I'm okay, Kona. Everything's okay. The sound of his voice calmed the dog a little, and she shifted to a steady whine. Max stood, wiping a layer of grit from his face, and tried to figure out where the hell he was. As his eyes adjusted in the dim light, he could just make out a small cavern. The round chamber was no larger than his bedroom, and the only visible